Hey everyone, welcome to part 24 of this Dark Urge Tactician mode guide for Baldur's Gate 3. This part has a lot of good stuff and I'm glad that you're joining me for it. We're not only going to get 2 new allies for the end of the game, but we'll also get a new piece of legendary equipment, and we're going to take out Gortash and get ready to go and fight Orin. So lots to do here. Let's get started by going over and fast traveling to the Basilisk Gate. That'll take us just inside where you begin the lower city. We're just going to head over toward the east and we're going to go through the little exit way here, and that will take us back into Worm's Crossing. Because we destroyed the Steelwatch Foundry, all the Steel Watchers are going to be out of commission here, so we don't have to worry about them so much, but there are other enemies in this area who are still hostile toward us, so be very careful as you approach the other side of this bridge. Just note that the enemies, if they see you, they will immediately begin combat with you. So instead we're just going to have Karlach come up, and then she's able to throw her weapon all the way over their line of sight, and she'll be able to initiate combat with them. Not only will it deal a lot of damage to this enemy, but also because it has the 6-meter area of effect damage, we can also start to damage the other enemies nearby. So now that we're in combat, we can use our Frenzy ability, and that will give us the ability to also use Enrage throw, so we get another throw here, and we can also knock someone prone with that. So we're just going to keep attacking. We should be able to take out this enemy really quick. And now that they're eliminated, we're going to run just a little bit over to the side here next to where the Steel Watcher is, and that gives us a good line of sight to over to the other enemy toward our left, just around the corner here. So let's throw another weapon over here and damage him, and then we're going to be able to switch into another party member and continue the fight. This battle is very easy. It really doesn't require a whole lot of strategy. We've already set ourselves up pretty well for it, so I don't have to explain the whole situation here. We're going to do our normal tactics and take out these enemies very simply. So I'll see you after this fight. Enjoy the rest of it, and I will catch you in a second.
Have to keep going.
Alright, and here we are coming to the end of it. All I want to do is to save a spell slot here, and I'll use Ray of Frost to hit Fist Dresden over here, and that should be enough to take him out and end the fight. There you go, that's 4 enemies dead before they even had a chance to do anything. I think that these builds are working pretty well together. Let's continue into the fortress, and you can see that this is a hostile zone, so we can't fast travel out of here. If you do need to leave for some reason, all you have to do is go back across the bridge the way that we just came. I'm going to save the game real quick just because there's going to be another fight coming up. It's also pretty easy and doesn't require a whole lot of strategy, but it's better safe than sorry. Let's keep going down the hall toward the south, and you'll see that some enemies are trying to look out the doorway here, but we can get into position just outside of where they can see and try to attack them. We can really do the same strategy that we did before. We can bring in Karlach and just have her start throwing weapons over here. Luckily, this is also a very easy fight and doesn't require a whole lot of strategy. I would say, though, that because there are more enemies, you probably won't be able to kill them all as quickly or efficiently as that last group of enemies, but that's alright. If you want to kind of preserve your health a little bit more, stay away from the main opening of the doorway. If you hang out on like the right or the left hand side, they won't be able to see you and get a good line of sight. So once you attack, just run either far to the right or to the left, and that will just keep you hidden from them, and then they really shouldn't be able to attack you. You can also just run up and close the door, and that will break their line of sight, making it a little bit easier for you to hide from them. So I'm just going to run over here, shut the door, and then they won't be able to see us, and then I just run to the side just in case when they do open the door, I'm still going to be tucked around the corner here. And that's really all the strategy that goes into this fight. We're just going to use the same tactics as before, trying to weaken them out, and then we can attack them with Will at the end. He always gets kind of a lower initiative rolls here, which is perfect for us because we can just have him use magic missile, and then he'll be able to just pick off the kills at the very end of it all once they're already weakened, because his Call the Weak Illithid power allows him to kill everything that's down to like 24 health or below. So really powerful having him having all of those Illithid powers, and we're just going to wrap up this fight. So enjoy it, and I'll see you in a few minutes.
Handy. I've got it.
Blade will not bend. Coming through.
Alright, only one guy left, and he's very low on health. We're just going to run Will up, and then we can hit him and just take him out. One of those 3 Eldritch Blasts has to hit him, right? And that will take out his last remaining hit point. Alright, from here what we can do, you can run around and loot all the bodies if you want to, and then we're going to continue on inside this room where we just fought these enemies, and then we're going to go over toward the west side, and we can use this passageway to go downstairs. Be prepared though, because as soon as you get here, you're automatically put into a fight. Lucky for us though, it's 4-on-1, so very easy to take this guy out. Let's just let this one play out quickly, and then we'll move on from here.
That's it.
Alright, another enemy down, and we're still doing great. We've only lost 9 hit points so far from all these fights, and that's only because I was too close to one of Karlach's Throw's AoEs with the Dark Urge. So now, continuing on from here, you want to go loot the body. You can pick up the key, and that will open up the door straight ahead of us. But when you do that, you'll probably be seen, and another fight will begin. So we're just going to do the same tactics here, hit him with some sneak attacks, and then also lots of throwing weapons down here. Hide around the corners just to break that line of sight, because they will try to attack you from a distance. And you definitely want to take out the enemy on the right hand first, because that's a mage that can actually block your spells, that can counterspell you with Gale. So be careful. I would definitely recommend taking that enemy out first, and then you kind of have free reign with the other ones. I thought I'd be a little bit cheeky here and just try to weaken all the enemies and then have a glorious kill with Gale after that, but unfortunately you'll see I do get counterspelled, which kind of throws the whole thing out of whack for a second. So didn't go exactly ideally, but it's still a very easy fight with some pretty weak enemies here. Karlach's just making sure to target different enemies so that everyone takes a big chunk of damage and also gets weakened from the AoEs, and then I just want to run her around and over to the side, just breaking that line of sight from the other enemies. It's Gale's turn now, and you'll see what I tried to do here. I tried to just use a level 1 magic missile, and then all these enemies are low on health, low enough that I can use Call the Weak to kill them all. So I tag each one of them with just one of the magic missile darts, and unfortunately I got counterspelled here. I could still use Psionic Backlash as a reaction to kill off that mage, but unfortunately it still blocked my magic missiles, so I wasn't able to get that off, and then I'm not really in the place where I can just run forward and attack them with my offhand attack, so instead I'm just going to retreat back around the corner and let them run over to me. If they're dashing, they can't do a whole lot to me, and if I'm off to the side, then even when they try to throw things at me, it's going to get blocked by the doorway. So that's exactly why I was using that method, to try to protect myself, hit them, and then run off to the side. Just a good defensive maneuver there. Now with Will, I'm going to try to Eldritch Blast all the enemies. I can hit them, potentially doing enough damage to kill them if they're low enough, or at the very least I can just knock them away and give myself a little bit of room in case I have to run around without provoking an attack of opportunity. So with all those enemies pushed back, I can run Will around the corner. Now this guy likes to try to cure the party members, and I want no part of that, so I'm just going to go ahead and counterspell him. I could probably Psionic Backlash him as well and just instantly kill him, but I wasn't sure if that was going to allow the spell to actually go off or not, so I thought better safe than sorry. I'll just shut it down and then finish him off the next time around. Now it's the Dark Urge's turn again. I'm going to have him just use his normal attack to try to take out one, maybe two of these enemies, and then Karlach will be able to finish off whoever I don't get to. We're a little bit close here, so Karlach's AoEs may come into play and actually hurt one of my own party members, and you'll see that's exactly what does happen, even though I tried to be really careful with Karlach, and I thought that maybe they were far enough away. The blast radius from the thrown weapon does actually go through the wall and hits Gale, and it's going to do just a little bit of damage to him when I attack the enemy on the right. So let's go ahead, finish up this fight, and then we're going to keep on going. I'd say it's pretty good that for all of these fights that we've done in the last few minutes, the only time I got hurt was me hurting myself, thanks to Karlach throwing that weapon a little bit too close. So not bad at all for Tactician mode. I would recommend looting the enemies around there to grab a key for the cell, but it doesn't really matter if you can lockpick it. Run all the way to the north down the hallway, and you can open up the iron gate on the far left side that has Counselor Florrick inside of it. If you don't have the key, you do have to lockpick it. It has a skill check of 15, so at least it's not too difficult to unlock, and then we're going to go ahead and talk to her to recruit her as a new ally.
You might as well lock the cell. It's over.
By Avernus. Florrick.
Will, is that you? What curse has befallen you? No matter. The city, the future, it's done.
Rogue, calm down. This cell was trivial to unlock. Getting out of here will be easy. Because we saved Duke Ravengard from the Iron Throne, she'll actually listen to us and will be happy. All we have to do is to tell her to follow me, and then she will follow us out of here.
Lead the way.
Counselor Florrick is now following us, and all we have to do is to lead her back outside of the Worm's Rock prison. So let's go ahead and bring her all the way to the south. We've eliminated all the enemies around here, so all we really have to do is just to run around and lead her to where she needs to go. So run all the way to the south, and then when you get to the end, you'll see a prompt to go into the passageway. Let's use that, and we're going to be transported back upstairs. Now let's leave the room with all of the people that we killed, and we're going to be back outside in the main hallway. Now turn left and run all the way toward the north until a cutscene begins. The cutscene will begin right about the time you step onto the bridge here, and then we can skip through most of this conversation, but we do have one dialogue option. We want to say, "I'm glad to see you free. You've proven a vital ally."
When the flames roared louder, I will travel to the... You won't fight the coming battle alone. As long as the city stands, I will stand with it. This is my promise.
Counselor Florrick will now leave our party and just run straight toward the north, and when she escapes into the lower city, we get an inspiration point for Will called Folk Hero Diplomatic Rescue, giving us 220 experience points. We also gained a new ally, so the journal entry for the Gather Your Allies quest is updated now to contain Counselor Florrick's information because we completed the quest Free Counselor Florrick. Well, with that all done, now what we're going to do is actually kind of head back the way that we were. We're going to go back down into the prison, and we're going to go down by where Answer the Dragon is. And I'm going to show you the very quick way to get through all of the worm's trials down there. So starting off, let's go back through the room with all the dead bodies, and then we're going to go through the passageway downstairs into the prison. Let's run straight ahead until we get to the main intersection here just outside of this door, and then we're going to turn over toward the left and run a little ways until you get to the end of this hallway. Now there's going to be 2 of these fiery dragon statues on the side. You need to use some sort of electricity to energize them. So go ahead with Gale. You should have something like Witch Bolt, and you can use that on each one of the dragon heads. So I'm going to start by attacking the dragon head torch on the left. We're going to hit that with a witch bolt, and now we're going to also use another witch bolt on the one on the right hand side. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way, and you'll see that it opens up the passage right in front of us and allows us to go through. So now we're just going to hop on over these boxes here. You can just walk over, you don't have to actually jump over them. And then go over toward the right hand side, just keep looping your way around. And then we're going to go north all the way down the hallway until we get to the door on the bottom part of this staircase. Now that we're at the bottom of the stairs, let's go ahead and just use the iron gate in front of us, and that will take us into the worm way. Now we just have to go forward. There's a door ahead of you that you can lockpick, or if you just want to blast your way through it, just choose Will, and he's able to use Eldritch Blast to go straight through all of these sturdy doors. You don't have to lockpick them if you can just blast them open. With that door out of the way, we're going to go straight ahead and then over toward the left. Follow this path around until you get all the way to the big center area. There's going to be 4 different trials around us and then 1 door straight ahead of us. Now, I did try to use the knock spell to open it, but it actually is immune to that. You can't do that, unfortunately. I saved the game and split Gale off from the rest of the party so he can run by himself over toward the east and open up this door. Then I'm just going to close the door for some privacy and continue straight ahead. We're going to go up here and we're going to go up by the statue, but don't interact with it just yet. Instead, you want to go right in front of him and then crouch down. So be exactly in the middle of the statue and then choose to use it. You're going to have a little bit of dialogue here and choose to take the torch, and then the fight will break out. Now, because you're hidden right behind the statue, there's a little strip where the monsters cannot see you. So we are perfectly hidden right here. The goal here is to survive for just 4 rounds, and all we have to do is try to sneak our way out of here without being seen. So we're going to dash while still crouching, and we can walk right along this narrow strip where they can't see us, and we're going to get out of here. So let's walk all the way to the end, and then when we're past where they can see, we'll just keep going toward the bottom of these stairs, and they won't know where we are. Do not leave this upper elevated platform or you're going to fail the challenge and things get very bad for you. So just stay on the top part here on the stairs. The enemy can't really see you. They still think that we're over kind of by where that statue is. So they're going to waste their turns and not be able to attack us at all. So we just need 1 of these turns to pass with those 2 monsters, and then some more are going to spawn in. But that's okay because now we're going to use the spell Odaluke's Resilient Sphere. It doesn't matter what level you use, so just level 4, and this is going to last for 3 turns. It makes us completely immune to all damage and to all spell effects. So now even though the enemies can see us, they cannot do a single thing to us. We just have to stand here and let them take their turns, and we can just keep passing our turns. All 3 turns will go by, and then they will instantly disappear, and we'll have succeeded in this trial. This is by far the easiest and the safest way to get through this trial. Even if the enemy does happen to see you that first turn, they're probably not going to be able to kill you straight away. You just have to survive that 1 turn turn, and then with Odaluke's sphere, then you're able to survive for the remaining 3 turns without any issue whatsoever. So I'm just going to let this play out real quick, and then we'll continue on after we succeed the first trial in the Chamber of Courage. Alright, there we go. We completed that without taking any damage at all. Now we're just going to run back and join up with the rest of our party. Once the gang is all back together, we're going to then head down a little bit toward the northeast, so just a little bit toward the side of where we just were, and we're going to control Will as we go down there, because there's going to be some little crystals ahead of us. We need to break those open, and just like with the door earlier, we can use Eldritch Blast just to blast our way through these attuned crystals. So we want to attack the one on the left side, and then the one just next to it. That'll clear out about half of the pathway, and then we can go through it no problem. Now, because we have Gale in our party, we don't want to be controlling him, but we want to have him nearby. We can talk to the statue of Balduran to get told about what the rules are here. Gale will actually tell us that he knows exactly how to play this game. This is Lance board, and he will give us tips for how to do it. So all we have to do is run forward, and you can interact with any of the pieces here. Just choose to cast spell on it, and then it will glow, telling you exactly what you have to do. So let's go over here, and it says that it wants to move this queen piece all the way over toward the left and take out the purple piece that looks like a little pawn all the way on the other side. So let's go ahead and do that one. The board will shift a little bit, and then we'll have another opportunity to do what Gale says that we should do. So let's go over, use that same piece that we just used before, and it's going to say, hey, take out this little pawn here. And once we do that, then we'll have successfully completed that trial as well. I'm not 100% sure if the game is the same every time, but if you have Gale along in your party, it doesn't really matter, because he will always be able to tell you the answer as long as he's not the party member that you are currently controlling. Alright, let's go on to the third trial. We're going to go over toward the northwest, running across this little walkway here, and we can go up the stairs and through the door. If you run straight ahead, you're going to see 3 red silhouettes. All you have to do is take someone with a ranged weapon, so in this case I'll take the Dark Urge, and I'm just going to have him attack the character all the way on the left, furthest from us, whose name is Swelto. If you hit him, then you are going to complete that trial. It is always the same in this case, so you can always bank on taking out Swelto and successfully completing that challenge. Well, now let's go on to the fourth trial, which is a little bit different because we have to have a certain spell, and that is Remove Curse. Now, no one has learned that so far in my party. I mentioned it in a previous part. You could have learned it with Will or something like that. I chose not to, and I don't have any of the scrolls for it either. So instead, I'm just going to go back to camp. I know that I haven't used Shadowheart for a while, and she is able to learn it. So what I'm going to do is just go over, put her into the party, and then she's going to level up, and I'm simply going to teach her the Remove Curse spell. So starting off, we are a level 9 cleric. We learn a whole bunch of different spells that we can add to our spell book. And here you can see we have Remove Curse, the level 3 spell already learned. We just have to put it into our spell book. But we'll do that in a minute. Let's go ahead and close out to this level, and now we're level 10. And you can see that we not only gain a level 5 spell slot, but also Divine Intervention, a really powerful spell that you can only use one time. We get to learn a new cantrip. Doesn't really matter what you choose. I'm just going to choose Produce Flame. And finally, set up your spell book however you want. Just make sure that you have Remove Curse as one of those spells. With that all done, we're going to go ahead and leave camp. We'll be right back where we were, and then we're just going to have Shadowheart use that Remove Curse spell on the pedestal that is right next to where the statue is. So go ahead and use that ability, and it's going to target the shrouded painting The Shroud of Darkness goes away, and now we can see that it's actually something called the Cell. Let's pick it up. That will add it to our inventory. Now just go across the Shrouded Circle, and we can interact with the Waiting Judgment. Let's go ahead and insert the Cell into that, and that will be enough to complete this challenge. So that's the 4th challenge out of the way, and we're all set from here. Off camera, I decided to head back to camp. I put Shadowheart away and took Karlach back, so now the original party members of the Dark Urge, Will, Gale, and Karlach are all together again. Let's run back to the center of the area. On the mini-map, there is a giant quest marker there, and when you get up here, the door will open and you'll get over 5,000 experience for completing all of these trials. Now we're just going to head through that open door down into the Dragon Sanctum. Let's talk to the statue of Balduran just ahead of us on our right. We can skip through all of this, it doesn't matter, there's no dialogue options or anything like that. And then we're able to go through the double iron doors. Now we're going to run all the way down and we'll see the body of Answer, the sleeping undead dragon. We're not going to bother with him though, we're just going to run right around him, and we're going to go all the way to the bottom of this area. Let's keep going all the way to the very bottom, and you'll see a helmet on the altar here called the Helm of Balduran. Let's pick it up. Not only is that a piece of legendary equipment, a very good helmet, but we also get an inspiration point for Gale called Sage Heavy as the Head for 220 experience. Now we can run straight ahead through the blue fog wall, and then we can go up and go through the double iron doors at the top. We're now back in Worms Rock Prison, and what we want to do is to head out of here. Our next main objective is to take care of Gortash, but we're going to go back to camp and do a long rest first, just to make sure that we're all set. Unfortunately, like I said before, you cannot fast travel from inside a hostile area, so instead what we have to do is run all the way out of here. We're going to go all the way toward the east, and when you get to the end here, you can switch it over to Will. He can just Eldritch Blast his way right through this door. No need to lockpick it or anything. We can go just right through it, and then we're going to continue forward and over toward the left. There's some stairs that lead you up here, as well as some boxes and a broken wall. We can Eldritch Blast our way right through this wall, and then we can go out of here. So climb up the boxes, and we're going to head on out through the hole in the wall on the other side. You do have to hop over this ledge here, not a big deal. Let's head through the crack from prison to Worms Rock, which will take us outside, and now we can choose to do a long rest, and that will bring us to a pretty interesting cutscene with some dire consequences if it goes wrong.
I shall cleave the truth from you like flesh from a doer.
Help me! She's gone mad!
Let her go, Lae'zel. She's a child.
Do not be deceived by her paltry form. This is no child. This is a shapeshifter who intends to slay us where we sleep. I saw her. She slipped into camp in the form of a woman and shifted into this abomination. She tried to silence me and hide her deception.
I didn't do anything!
She doesn't seem to be putting up much of a fight.
Her wits are about her. She knows we outnumber her. Say your farewells, Nevukrim.
Intimidation. Let her go, Lae'zel. Here we have a skill check looking for a 25. It's definitely difficult, but we have a bonus of +8 from our intimidation proficiency and intimidation expertise. So you might want to save the game if you want to ensure that Yenna lives here, because if you fail this, then Yenna will die. It's worth noting that as long as Gale is in our party, it could also be Halsin who we interact with here. I showed that sequence in the previous playthrough, but this one is going to be Lae'zel instead. So let's roll this one and finish the scene.
You turn on me to save this ignorant whelp. Do I mean so little to you?
Look at it. Brain battered and broken. Hands stained with the Bone Lord's soot. Have you forgotten the way home, sibling? Should I set your lapdog to screaming? that could help you find the way.
So Gortash spoke the truth. You've been following me.
The little lordling has been whispering in your ears. He always knew how to tumble and twist your mind matter, leave you knotted in his cords. Gortash betrays us, bloodkin. He sets a leash to our slaughter, uses us to drive the herd towards his tin men's oppression. You must kill the tyrant, smear him across his rock-rotten halls, and pluck the netherstone from his carcass. Then we duel, sweet slaughterkin. The winner claims the stones, Baal's true chosen. The loser rots on his altar. Agree, and I will bring my assassins to heal. They watch you always, longing to spray the crimson from your veins. Refuse me, and you'll learn what happens to those who defy Baal's doctrine. So will your friend.
So, this was Orin's intention. A combat against a fellow scion of Baal, witnessed by the Lord of Murder himself. Accept, and you must kill Gortash. Refuse, and your companion's life may be forfeit, as might your own. Orin's assassins will hunt you like prey for slaughter.
A duel it is. I will extinguish Gortash, then I will come for you.
The promise of slaughter, of pain and humiliation, and the sound of blood dropping into the gutter. But first, you must make gut spill of the tyrant. But listen close, bone killer. Come to my temple before you turn Gortash to carrion, and I will ready your friend's corpse to greet you. Baal is waiting, slaughterkin. Do not disappoint him.
Now we're back at camp. You can see that we're heavily encumbered because we're carrying all the things that the kidnapped party member was holding. At this point, we also get an inspiration point for the Dark Urge called Haunted One Personal Relations, giving us 170 experience, as well as another inspiration point called Haunted One Written in Blood, and that gives us 220 experience. So as I said just a moment ago, we have the backpack of everything that Lae'zel was carrying. She has a lot of heavy things, so let's just go into the inventory real quick and transfer that over to someone else, or just send it straight to camp. Because we saved Arabella earlier, we can actually go to the bench nearby the fire, and there should be a letter from Arabella that we can find. Let's go ahead and read that, and it just tells us that she's made it safely to Baldur's Gate. You can actually find her down in the sewers, but you don't have to. Simply reading the letter is enough to get her to become one of our allies for the end of the game. So that's the second ally that we've gotten in this video, Counselor Florrick and Arabella. We've gotten our legendary piece of equipment for the Helm of Balduran. Now let's go ahead and do our long rest using supplies so that we will be all ready to do the final thing that we need to do, and that is to take out Gortash. So once we're all fully rested, let's get on out of here, and we're going to go back to outside of Worm's Rock Prison.
Ready.
Let's start by running toward the south. We'll go up this ledge, and then we're just going to continue to follow the path all the way around. There's going to be a murdered body here. Don't worry about it. Just keep on running past it. And then we're going to go over here and go up this other nearby ledge. Let's continue on toward the west, and we're going to go down this ledge, and then we're going to go down another ledge. It looks like you can climb that. You really can't, but you do want to climb the one at the far edge. This is the knotted roots that will take you up to the upper level. Continue to run over toward the west. You'll have to hop up on this ledge here and continue on through. We're going to now turn toward the right, and we're now going to be heading toward the north. So we're just kind of going all around the outside perimeter of Worm's Rock Prison, or the fortress. Let's continue on all the way toward the north, and you'll see a ladder over here. We can now climb up this ladder and get up to the upper ledge, and then we can use the knotted roots to go up one level higher. When you get to the top, then we're going to be in a hostile area, so we can't fast travel or anything from here or go back to camp. There's a locked door in front of us, but we'll just Eldritch Blast our way straight through that, and then go over toward the right side as soon as you enter Worm's Rock Fortress. Over here, we can just go ahead and open up the door. We don't have to blast our way through it. And when we get outside, then what we want to do is go over to Gale, because we want him to cast Grant Flight onto Will. Karlach can jump high enough, and we're partial Illithid with both Gale and the Dark Urge. So now Will can fly, and we can all get up to this upper level very easily. So now let's just go ahead and choose to fly up to this upper level here, and all the other party members will follow along. Now we just have to go up another flight, and there's a ladder right next to us too. So just keep working your way up all the way to the top of this area, and everyone should be able to make it up, no problem. So now when we're all on the upper level, we've already taken out all of the guards, all the steel watchers and stuff, so you don't have to worry about those things, but you do have to worry about traps. So stick kind of toward the right side of this hallway, that way you should be able to go around those traps pretty easily. And now we're going to switch it back over to Will, because he's got the ability to take out a lot of Gortash's traps in this area. So let's start by blasting this double door open, and then we can go on inside. As soon as you enter, you should get an autosave right here, which is good because we do have a fight coming up. Now what we have to do is to take out all of the different traps around this room, so you can split Will away from the rest of the party members if you want to, just to make it a little bit easier. Let's take out the incineration caster on the right and the left side of the door using Eldritch Blast. We're just going to use Eldritch Blast for everything around here. Luckily, it doesn't count against any of our spell slots or anything, so we can use it to take care of everything. There's a grenade impeller right above your heads, just to the inside of the door, and you can also take out another one, which is in the opposite corner here. So we've taken out 4 things along the far east wall. Now on the south wall up high, there are 2 force curtains, so attack the one on the left side and the right side of the window. Just always verify that you are in fact destroying them. Sometimes you might miss, or it might barely survive. You definitely want to make sure all the traps are destroyed before continuing on. Let's take out this incineration caster on the left side of the main doorway leading to Gortash, and then there's going to be another one on the right side. So once we have all of those taken out, then we just have to look up high on the north wall, and there's going to be another force curtain up here right in the middle. So we've taken out things on each of the 4 walls surrounding this area, and that's going to be everything here. So just double checking, making sure that everything has been destroyed properly. Now let's get the party back together, and we're going to be ready to rock. So let's bring everyone in, and then we're going to save the game just because we want this fight to go well. Honestly, with my strategy, it shouldn't be a problem. You shouldn't activate any traps, which will get you another trophy if you haven't gotten the fancy footwork trophy yet. Let's get started. I separated the Dark Urge from everyone else, leaving the 3 party members behind, and now I'm going to sneak forward to just outside of his field of view. I'm going to open up with just a normal attack because I can't use a sneak attack from this range, but I'm going to be able to hit him from this area, which will begin the battle. Everyone else will be surprised except for Gortash. He's going to get buffed with a couple of shells of resistance. He'll also then throw something over at you, damaging you, or hit you with some magic, and then he's going to buff 2 out of the 3 guys around here with some things that will reflect projectiles, so we've got to be a little bit careful about that. It's now our turn to attack, and we're going to attack the guy that he did not put the reflective shield on. So go ahead, hit him with a sneak attack or whatever attack you want to. I'm going to follow that up with another range attack. We get automatic critical hits whenever we actually do hit them. I got 2 misses in a row there, but I'm going to hit him with another critical hit. If I had hit him with all those attacks, he probably would have been dead right there. Now we got to get out of here, so we're going to use the fly ability to bring us back by our other teammates. That just stops us from having to run through that fiery ground. I'm going to pass on Karlach's turn and Gale's turn. I don't want to move them or do anything with them right now. I'm just going to let the enemy go through their surprise turn, and then it will be over to Will. What I'm going to do with him is put down a area of Hunger of Hadar on the ground. I'm going to put it right here in this hallway, so if the enemy wants to come to me, they're going to have to run through this area. Their movement is going to be extremely hindered. They won't be able to attack me from it, but I'll be able to hit them. So just put it down kind of right in this middle hallway here, so everything has to come through it if they want to come to us. So now Gortash is going to run through it, and you can see he instantly slows way down, and he's not able to get through it to the other side. But we can attack him, so let's go ahead and do that. Using the Dark Urge, we can hit him no problem. We also always have advantages on him, so we can hit him with as many sneak attack ranges as we want to from here. You unfortunately only get one per turn, but we do have the ability to do a follow-up attack, so let's go ahead and do that, and we're able to hit him with lots of critical hits here. He does have a very strong magical ability that will attack everything in a line, so don't stand right next to your party members. You want to spread out so that he can't attack more than one person at once. With Karlach, I'm going to Frenzy so that I can use Enrage Throw. Any enemy hit with Enrage Throw will automatically be put prone if they're able to be put prone. There's no saving throw on this at all. So we're going to hit him, and then he's going to fall down. That's going to suck up a lot of his movement speed, and the Hunger of Hadar will suck up the rest of it. So he really won't be able to move very far at all. Now I can throw my other two normal throws, and that will do a lot of damage to him. So by the end of Karlach's turn with her 3 throws, Gortash should be down to about half of his health or below. I got a couple critical hits that you might not get. That's okay though. We're still going to be able to finish off Gortash before he's a problem. Now let's run Karlach over to the side just to be safe. And with Gale, we're going to make things even more evil by casting Wall of Fire. And we're going to do it right through this opening here. So now everything has to walk very slowly through the Hunger of Hadar, taking damage, as well as walking through the fire if they want to get close to us. Anytime an enemy will enter it or end their turn within that wall of fire, they're going to take additional damage, which makes it very difficult for them to get close to us to do anything. Here you see this enemy moving forward, being smart enough to stay out of that wall of fire, but we can be even more evil by using Gale and his Eldritch Blast. We can target any enemy walking through the fire and push them back with that Eldritch Blast, and that will just reset their progress. There's no way that they have enough movement speed to get out close to us, so anything that gets nearby will just keep pushing them back, and then they will not be able to get anywhere near us to do any damage whatsoever. You can see this enemy walked into the trap, and they're going to take some damage at the end of their turn. And then this enemy, who we already damaged with the Dark Urge earlier, he's going to run forward and go straight into that fire, taking lots of damage, ending his turn in the fire, taking more damage, and just killing him. Now this other enemy in the back is going to run forward. They're smart enough to stay out of the trap for right now, but then they won't be able to attack us or anything from there. Gortash took his turn real quick but wasn't able to do anything, so now it's the Dark Urge's turn again. I'm going to run him up and start attacking, but unfortunately what happened is when I used Will to push him back, he actually got in range of the little things that buff him with shields in the back, so I'm not really able to do a whole lot to him. If I attack him, I have a very low chance of actually hitting him, so you'll see I actually miss a couple times in a row. I've only got a 50% chance to hit, and I come up with nothing on all of the attacks that I do, even my additional attack. But that's okay, we're just not able to do anything with this turn. Let's move him out of the way and make room for Karlach, who's going to move back in position in the middle, and then she's going to start using her Enraged Throws again. We'll use this to attack Gortash, knocking him down, doing lots of damage, and then we kind of have a choice here. We can either just really try to finish him off. What's nice is that every time we hit him, that AoE damage is going to injure the people around him as well. You could also throw a couple toward the other enemies just to try to weaken them. I'll hit Gortash with 2 Enraged Throws just to lower his health a lot, and then using my other throws, I'll throw a Niralna over toward each of his friends one time. So I'll throw one into this guy, and then in the follow-up throw, I'll attack the guy right next to him. They're all taking damage from every single throw that I do, and they're each going to take a large chunk of damage from the initial hit, as well as the residual damage from the AoE. Well, Karlach's turn is done. We'll just move her over to the side, and now it's going to be Gale's turn, and all I want to do is to use the magic missile to finish off these enemies. I can use a level 5, and that will be more than enough to take out these guys, even though they've got over 50 health left. So what I need to do is move a little bit closer, so I'll move kind of up into this area, and now I can hit them with that level 5 magic missile. I only need to tag Gortash one time in order for him to be a guaranteed kill, and then I'm going to tag the other ones 3 or 4 times just to make sure that I can lower their health to below 25, and that should be enough for Call the Weak to kick in and finish off all 3 of those enemies, which will kill Gortash, giving me an inspiration point for the Dark Urge called Haunted One, shattering the Black Hand for 275 experience. And this also completes some journal entries for taking his Netherstone, as well as for Karlach's quest, Our Fiery Friend. I should have moved Gale back a little bit just to get him out of range of the enemy coming forward. That's going to come back to bite me in a second. With Will, I'll just pass his turn and let the enemy run to me. Unfortunately, he could see Gale from there, so he cast Dominate Person. I used a Psionic Backlash just to do a little bit of damage to him, but Gale is now under his control. That's okay though, we can break that pretty easily by using the Dark Urge. So let's run forward. We can try to hit him with a sneak attack range from here. With an 84% chance to hit, you'd think I'd hit, but I missed, of course. I think that brings the Dark Urge's total of misses in this fight alone to 6, so he was pretty useless, but that's okay. For once we actually hit, and it breaks the concentration. Now we just have to have Karlach go forward and finish him off. So we're going to run right over to the corner here, just so we have a good line of sight right through this big doorway, and we're going to attack him with an Enraged throw, and with a good hit, that will be enough to finish him off, and that fight is over. We do have to wait a little while just for the Hunger of Hadar and the Wall of Fire to go away, so let's take a moment to go talk to Karlach with the exclamation mark above her head.
It's finished. It's done. I need to see him up close. I need to know he's dead.
We've still got a little time to kill, and it looks like everyone on our party can level up, so let's go ahead and do that. Starting off with the Dark Urge, we're now a level 6 monk, or level 11 overall, and we gain a cool ability called Shadow Step. As long as we're in darkness, we can teleport from shadow to shadow. Afterwards, we have advantage on our next melee attack roll. That ability gives us some really cool maneuverability options in the future. Now we're going to move on to the next character, who is going to be Gale. He's a level 11 wizard. We're just keeping him right as a wizard. Now he gets a level 6 spell slot and some new spells. I'm going to teach him 2 spells that will come in handy later. First of all, we're going to take Arcane Gate, allowing us to create 2 linked teleportation portals, as well as Globe of Invulnerability, create a barrier that makes creatures and objects inside of it immune to all damage for 3 turns. We don't have to add those to our spellbook just yet, so let's skip that, and now move on to our third character, who's going to be Karlach. The last time she leveled up, we gave her a subclass into Fighter, and now we're going to do that again, bringing her to a level 2 Fighter, giving us Action Surge, making her even more lethal in combat. Now let's move on to our final party member. This is going to be Will. We're not doing anything really fancy with his build, so we can kind of do whatever we want to as a level 11 Warlock. We do get another Warlock spell slot and some spells. For his Mystic Arcanum, we're going to teach him Circle of Death, just so that he can do a lot of damage to enemies nearby each other. So let's learn that one, and then for another spell, we're going to teach him Hold Monster. And this is just a good one to give us guaranteed critical hits from melee range and stop something from moving for 10 turns. Now that those level ups are done, we're going to be back right where we were before, outside of where we fought Gortash, and we're just going to get our party members back together and then take a short rest just to get our health back. There's a lot of enemies that we defeated here, and they have some decent loot on them, but most importantly, what you want to do is find Gortash's body amongst all these charred remains, and we're going to go ahead and loot that and then get a cutscene. It's a long cutscene with Karlach, so I'm going to skip most of it. The choices you say don't matter so much anymore, so you can do whatever you want to. Eventually, she's just going to go and have some alone time off at camp, so she'll be gone from the rest of our party, and then we can continue on from here. All we have to do is to loot Gortash's body again, and we're able to take the things that we need from him. So he's got some really good stuff. Let's go ahead and grab everything from him. Make sure you grab the Cloth of Authority. That can come in handy in a little bit, as well as ultimately grabbing what we need to grab from him, which is going to be the Netherstone Studded Gauntlet. So grab that, and then you'll get a cutscene.
Howling like a great wind through a canyon. It engulfs your mind, drowns
to your senses. Above the hell rises a screech, gleeful and maniacal. It is the way and the truth. Absolute.
Leave them alone.
The screech quiets, the howl fades. Your mind is hollow, save one lone voice.
Bane's chosen has fallen. His netherstone is yours. You have done well.
Feel free to ask more questions to the Emperor, or you can simply choose to leave. Well, now we have Gortash's netherstone, and we're going to steal a few more of his belongings. So let's start by running over toward the northwest corner. We grabbed the key off of Gortash, and there's a couple chests in this room that we can open up with that key. So going over here by the big bear, then you can see that there's going to be a chest right around here. We can open that up with the key. Inside of it is going to be a Mind Flayer Parasite specimen, as well as a new pair of boots. These are the Helldusk boots, a very good piece of equipment, so make sure that you grab those. And now we're going to go over to the other side of the room. There's another chest over here that we can open up. This is going to contain some more gold, as well as a servitor of the Black Hand Gloves piece of equipment that can instill fear into someone. So go ahead and grab that one, and now we're going to head back to camp. After picking that stuff up, I'm actually encumbered, so that's why I'm walking slowly, but I sped it up just for the sake of time. There's going to be a letter on the ground called Kudos on the Murder of Gortash. This is a letter from Orin that we can read. She just congratulates us on killing him, and she's going to keep Lae'zel safe for right now. Now let's continue along the path, and we can go talk to Karlach. She's got the exclamation mark above her head. We're just going to talk to her and get her back into the team now. Now let's keep going toward the southeast so that we can talk to Volo, and we're going to have him explain a little bit about Orin's Slayer form. She will be our next main opponent in this playthrough, but what we want to do with him is basically just sell off all of the other stuff that we don't need. We'll get rid of all the extra weight and get some gold in the process. And that is going to do it for part 24. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. We're getting very close to the end of the game. All that we really have to do is to defeat Orin and then make our way toward the final boss of the game. So we're doing great. Stick with it, and I'll see you very soon for part 25. Until then, thanks for watching and have a good day.